Okay, welcome back class, and we'll be continuing our topic on transportation challenges and problems. So, on we were discussing about congestion, but another problem which has arisen in the recent past is the longer commuting times. People have been commuting over large distances and over maybe some more time. They're increasing time as well. So probably because of better transportation modes available, comfortable modes, and better average speeds and efficiencies, and people are commuting. The primary reason behind is that people are now residing in periphery areas or suburban areas, and they are compensating, or they are uh, counteracting with they are due to the realization of affordability. They are saying that okay, they are accepting that they can travel longer times and longer distances because they can afford a house in the outskirts now. So that residential location primarily influences this longer time in computing, and that ultimately that commuting times and will ultimately also affect your congestion as well. And people are this community are trading basically time for their housing affordability, and that I think is happening in case of Pakistan as well, in which a lot of housing scheme have sprung up in the outskirts, and people are commuting daily, maybe 40 minutes, 15 minutes, long travel distances sometimes, uh, and they think that that is affordable. But this commuting is uh, problematic. A large over some large distances or time, it is problematic because of some problems, especially mental health and physical health. So that causes a problem. So we also discussed in the previous slides. So you can see that average length has increased of work times, as well as a change in your travel time has increased significantly, and but average speeds have remained more or less same. Another commuting time is depending on the country, your commuting times changes. So this is another problem: longer commuting times. Another very valid problem is public inadequacy of transportation. It's inadequate, it's not comfortable, it's not used. So most of the time, the public transportation is overused or underused. So that also is poses a problem itself, because in crowded net they create discomfort, and people will not opt for travel to public transportation. And on the and the comfort, I would say the convenience of public transportation would decrease. People will say that's so much congestion, let's not use public transport. And sometimes, due to low ridership, it's become financially unsustainable. And there has been a debate that how much public transportation should be subsidized by the country, or how should it be financed, maybe through getting tolls and taxes from the cars, and maybe giving it to the public transportation. So that has remained an issue as well. When especially when you have developed your public transportation authority is different, and your local development authority is different. Your transportation department is different. Your provincial or national level, district level transportation authority is different. So that also poses a problem in operation of public transportation. That how you'll cross finance it. In the past, it was acceptable that the government would subsidize public transportation, but due to the change order of this economic structure in the world, economic changes in the world, it has become under controversial that should public transport transportation subsidized by the government or not. So public transport advocacy, inadequacy is right there. So everyone knows that most of the cities in Pakistan, at least, they are not pedestrian friendly. So that also poses a problem to for people who are encouraged to use bicycles and walking mode. So we need to emphasize on this non-motorized form of transportation as well. Okay. Different cities in the world, they have prioritized non-motorized non-motorized transportation modes. Then is you are using a lot of road is using a lot of your public land that might have been converted into some public spaces. In Pakistan, you might see that we don't have so much public spaces, so that is another issue, that a lot of good infrastructure, good spaces are being encroached by the transportation system. The more open area, either it's green or that is being developed for road infrastructure. Okay, then there is another issue that because of in pedestrianized areas, if they are prioritizing your non-motorized kind of transportation systems, those kind of system would also promote a kind of a community sense in which people let me talk about European context, when their own their old areas or sometimes their public squares we call it is fully pedestrianized, and that then have become a places for social gatherings. People are staying there a lot of they go for picnic or enjoyments. So those squares, in Italy they call it piazzas, I think. So those area have limited your limit all of your transportation system. So what is people are then traveling on foot, and they are that spaces have emerged as public space, and people just gather there to have a meeting or have a cup of coffee. So that is also being if you are prioritizing your walking or pedestrianization, then public spaces will automatically emerge in different areas. Okay. Then is your infrastructure maintenance cost. So transportation will age, and it will incur it would need a lot of money to revitalize it or maintain it. So, and in addition to this maintenance, there is when there is a maintenance going on, that will disrupt your circulation, and that will again contribute to increasing congestion. Or delayed maintenance would also be very bad, because it will then damage your cars and limit your mobility as well. Okay. Again, maintenance, road maintenance. Another is your environmental impacts and energy consumption. So that is another issue, that how much car is contributing towards the pollution, including noise. So that is contributing to the environment. More cars on the road, more pollution will be there. Of course, energy consumption, congestion, and energy consumption, that is also highly correlated. And high energy prices will again have an effect on your transportation systems. Okay, so here you can see that transportation is around 22% carbon emission in the world is contributed by transportation. Then is your noise levels, different type of transportations, light traffic, street noise, they are contributing to your neighborhood with different noises. With respect to energy use, the transportation sector is 34% are using the world energy sources, energy end uses basically of energies. So how much energy is transportation system? 66% is being used by vehicle operations. So this is breakup of the energy being used by transportation systems. So a lot of energy being used by it. And of course, there are a lot of environmental concerns that if there is an oil spill, that is another environmental concern. Okay, then is the impacts about, look at the right side, you will see that it will have socio-ecological effects, because it will affect changes in habitat, because we are constructing road, we are constructing over natural land, and that will affect the the habitat systems, and that ultimately will affect your socio-ecological systems. And of course, health exposures as well as. And then there is a debate that which kind of central system would be more efficient in utilizing the energy. For a centralized system, which we say high density development, emission will be very much limited and energy will be efficient. And in diffuse network in urban sprawled area, high energy use, a lot of people will travel, and but emissions would be also uh, it would be diffused, it would be spread out. So that might be a point that how transportation networks is designed would also ultimately impact your energy use and your carbon emissions. So at the local level, there are a lot of particulates would be there. At regional level, nitrogen oxide gases would be there. And in the larger global area, it will ultimately contribute towards the global warming. So, sorry, climate change. I think the last point would be the accidents and safety. So, of course, the more number of cars on the road, more will be the accidents and fatalities on the road. And those accidents will cause congestion as well. So road safeties are there. A lot of accidents on main highways are there. Yeah. Okay, yes, land consumption, it's linked to the, you can link it to the, also to the public spaces, but land consumption, we have talked about this as well in the previous, I think, spatial in urban form. I think we've talked about it, that previous very precious land is converted into your road infrastructure, and a lot of area, 30 to 60% of areas dedicated for the transportation system. So that is there. This is a shows you that how much land per area is available and how many is used by the car. Okay, the last, I think, yeah, this is the last, the freight distribution, in which we have not talked about too much in our course, but this logistics and distribution of your freight movement in the city, that has posed a big problem, especially at the global level. A lot of freight is being moved all over the world, and product is being moved. So freight distribution has occurred, but it has not. We have not covered it, but it also impacts severely your to your. It contributes to your congestion in the country. So it also itself poses another issues. How much volume is being transferred? It will impact your road network, nature of what kind of thing you're moving. Is it cold thing, e-commerce, what type of thing is doing? So it has posed another problems. It will have environmental issues, social issues, and some policy issues are already there. So these are some of the problems uh, which is commonly faced all over the world regarding urban transportation systems. So in your opinion, do you think that what else could be the problem? These are some very generic problems. Of course, if we go into in-depth study or critical studies about what type of thing, which type of uh, mode is contributing to this type of traffic or this type of transportation problems, there are so many problems out there. But I've tried to summarize the very general problems. So in your idea, do you have any other thing, do you think that using this transportation system or urban transportation in today's world, or especially in context of Pakistan, what other problems do you face in transportation systems? Plus, anyone? Or do you think that this all of our problems have been covered? Yes, Arya, please.
Sir, is जो ये होता है the way our roads are constructed or जो टूट जाती हैं और उनकी smoothness and the way you feel while you're driving, is that also a part of our transportation system?
Yes, of
The
course.
construct.
Yes, road infrastructure, the physical aspect of road design, that are also part of infrastructure. I've more or less I've tried to remain on the management side, but on transportation planning side basically. But of course, traffic engineering or transportation engineering, it is also part of the public transportation systems. So of course that maintenance costs and this management, construction of roads, that remains a big problem, and that contributes to that also is also one of the most mm, uh, common challenge in public transportation system in Pakistan. Anyone else? Any other thing do you think that our transportation system is facing in Pakistan? Yes, Ahmed, please.
सर हमारे यहाँ सर साइकिल्स का सर बिल्कुल रुझान नहीं है, और किसी भी सतह पर सर इन साइकिलिंग को प्रमोट नहीं किया जाता, हालांकि ये हमारी इकोनॉमी को प्लस हेल्थ को दोनों को बेनिफिट करे अगर मतलब हम साइकिलिंग की तरफ आ जाएं इवन इन बिग सिटीज सर। तो ये तो सर एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोस्पेक्ट है सर जिस पे हमें फोकस करना चाहिए सर।
Very good point. When I was in my own university in Thailand, in AIT, Asian Institute of Technology, the whole campus was pedestrianized. You have to leave out the car, and if you want to travel to the department, you need to bicycle. You can only walk or you can use bicycle. So that can be done. Like campuses in the world, all over the world, campus are preferred to be pedestrianized. So we can start from there as well. Why we should not let's start with the country or let's the whole city. Let's start with the small neighborhood level, maybe start at the university level or campuses. Maybe then we can like yes, Rizwan, please.
सर इसी तरह का एक ऐप है इजी बाइक, बाद में शायद आपको पता होगा। तो लाइक वो अच्छा सिस्टम है कि आप वो ये सॉफ्टवेयर बेस्ड है, आते हो पहले बुक कर लेते हो, ठीक है, उधर जाके वही बारकोड स्कैन होता है, ठीक है, और उसके बाद आप वही पर किलोमीटर के हिसाब से चार्ज आपको करेंगे, फ्री पे सारी। तो लाइक आपकी इजीली एक्सेस है, कहीं भी आप यानी कहीं भी आपको मिल सकती है, जहाँ पे भी अवेलेबल हो। तो मेरे ख्याल से विद इन सिटीज लाइक स्पेशली इस्लामाबाद में लाइक इस चीज़ को लाइक प्रमोट करना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल, और हो भी सकता है, बिल्कुल हो सकता है। All we need is commitment and supported infrastructure. One more thing, only having bicycle is not the only thing. We should have bike lanes. We should have segregated bicycling or walking lanes on your main road infrastructure. So we call it supported, that your infrastructure should support your active ways of commuting. Only then people will prefer it. I have not seen any bicycle lane in maybe you might have seen in your own cities, and I've seen somewhere in Lahore as well, but in Islamabad, at least on the main roads, I've not seen it. So they can make a lane dedicated for the pedestrians and bicycles. Yes, any other thing to add? If nothing, then today's lecture is finished. Nothing? Okay, I'll stop the recording.